Right, so if the world was a water world, we would have something called single cell circulation model. And the first person that thought about that was Hadley. And he basically thought, well, the equator is hot and the poles are cold, so it's going to be just convection that goes from the hot to the cold. Right, that makes sense. So hot air would rise, cold air would sink. And so it would go from the equator to the pole in both directions. And this was a great start. Hadley had a really good start and a really good idea. However, it didn't work in real life. So what we had to set up, instead of the one-cell model, is the three-cell model. And essentially, it's the same thing, where wind is driven by temperature, but it's affected by the Earth's rotation. So you can see them all here, but I'm going to go through them. So the three-cell model came about in the 1920s. The first cell is 0 to 30. So 0 at the equator to 30 at the subtropical high, or the horse latitudes. That has a whole story around it, but we won't get there. Anyway, because Hadley was the first one to think about this, it is called the Hadley Cell. And this one is fairly simple. Warm air rises. So the warm air moves to the poles, right? So depending on what side you are here, you either go up or you go down, right? So warm air goes up, cool air sinks. I don't know why this is showing red and blue in opposite directions, but you're going up and you're cooling down, maybe that's it, and then you're going down and you're warming up. That could be why it's showing that. Anyways, this goes from the equator to about 25 to 30 degrees latitude, north and south. This region here actually has the most deserts. Alright, so because it's the three-cell model, you're like, well, where are the other two cells? No, the first one is the feral cell. This is where the westerlies are from. It kind of goes from warm to cool, but instead of 0 to 30, you're going from about 30 to 60-ish. And you've got the westerlies here. They blow to the west. Oh, I didn't mention, with the Hadley cell, they're kind of blowing towards the equator. Here they're blowing towards the 60 degree, if you will. Now the third cell is called the polar cell, for a very good reason. There's no warm, so the polar cell, it's no longer going hot up or cold down, it's all just cold. But the main wind is blowing towards the equator, or again towards that 60 degree divider there. That's going to become important a little bit down the road.